Welcome, nerds, to our
Hey,
Hunger Games
nerds.
summer.
Yay.
It's the start
Yay.
of our Hunger Games summer. This is it. Well, no,
Ah,
that's kind of a lie because last month we did Sunrise on the Reaping.
Yeah, that
yeah,
was
but
the
this is
beginning.
like our Hunger Games Renaissance.
hmm
Hmm.
Which I was telling you guys, I know it must be going on because I've been rereading them on my Libby app or been trying to, and all of the
Hmm.
books, like the original trilogy, it's all on hold for like weeks. So
Uh-huh.
everybody must be rereading this series right now.
A lot of people I've seen on Bookstagram, like their wrap-ups, it's all like Hunger Games rereads. It's like Hunger
Hmm.
Games are catching fire. Like so
So we can
everyone's going
all
back.
be depressed together this summer. That's what I took away when I reread this book was, oh, I'm sad again.
Mhm.
It's supposed to give you a spark,
Mhm.
though. Also, I just think, which Suzanne Collins has said in interviews, she always writes that she feels inspired by like what's going on and happening. So it speaks a lot that she feels inspired to write two new books, you know?
Both
But
during the Trump administration. There's first one and then a second one.
So here's to hoping there's a
so,
third book coming because I'm
uh-huh.
sure there's still a lot to say.
Well, I was gonna say you want another another run, but it's
No,
actually
are you
it's three more
crazy?
years.
I just
I'm
want another
barely hanging
Yeah,
book.
on as it is.
he can run again. That's what.
You guys,
I
don't
can't.
stress me out even more.
I thought that's
I
what you were
know.
saying. Like one more book, he can run again.
No, like just maybe she'll release one soon while this last term is still going on.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I got high hopes. I think people probably really love it too, just because of the world and it's inspiring, gives you hope and tragic. And when we think about Haymitch's book, it's so hardcore about propaganda. So it's just pretty great.
Yes,
hmm
which is why it's going to be amazing kind of going back
Back.
through this
Hmm.
because we know everything with Haymitch. We know like Choreo story, President
Dude,
Snow
fuck
story.
him.
And that's your boy, so don't even say
I
anything.
do love Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but
But Suzanne Collins was like, hold up, let me make
hold
sure
up.
you guys actually hate this man like you should.
Yes.
No joke, dude. No
Um,
joke.
yeah, and so yeah, now we can piece together everything and like reread it because we
hmm
have both of their backstories. We have
But
Stacy's favorite character's backstory, and then we have my favorite character's backstory.
I just have to say that even so, I just finished rereading the first one a few days ago, but even from like the eighth page of the Hunger Games, it says, because Katniss is talking about her parents or whatever. So she's talking about her mom, and she says she must have really loved him to leave her at home
Hmm.
for the seam. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
and then you just jump forward a couple pages. It's just, it's just like, because I had just finished Shay Mitch's book, it just hits so hard if you go right back into the Hunger Games. And so then a few pages later, they're talking about the Hunger Games, and she's talking about these people making bets. And one of it is taking bets on the two kids whose names will be drawn. Odds are given on their ages, whether the seam or merchant, if they will break down and weep. And I put Wyatt, like in the, you know what I mean? It made me think of Wyatt.
Yeah.
No, I
Hmm.
know. But you're right, like literally like already stuff um just right at the beginning, like
Hmm.
connections. I mean, Um
And her
yeah.
dad just means so much more to you, I feel like.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I was just like so sad as soon as I started this book, even just hearing about him because he was gone.
I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, just like the connection to him and Mockingjays and birds, and I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's like it already starts.
And even when they first bring up Haymitch, it says, then he reads the list of past District 12 victors in 74 years. We have exactly two. Only one is still alive. Haymitch Abernathy, a paunchy, middle-aged man who at this point appears hollering something unintelligible, staggers on stage, and falls into the third chair. He's very drunk. Our boy, Chanel's boy.
I know. Um, the other thing is like mentioning, because I have just finished Catching Fire, and I honestly think Catching Fire, that's, but besides Sunrise and the Reaping, I think Catching Fire is my next favorite. Again, I haven't read Mockingjay, reread Mockingjay, but that has so much meaning. And I say that particularly because of Cinna. Cinna is doing so much, again, like Haymitch behind the scenes. And you only see like glimpses of it, right? Just between like his fashion and just like little things he says. Like he's not a very big character. And I don't think Haymitch is a very big character either, but they're so intentional. And the first time we kind of meet, one of the first times we meet him and kind of see him, Cinna specifically, he was the first person to call Katniss the girl on fire, right? Because he like made this outfit for her, kept her obviously like fully dressed, besides like what we know most of the stylists do, which is have them like half naked or covered in coal or whatever. And so I just thought that was really, again, very meaningful. Like he is so talented, but he like gives her this name that like sticks with her throughout the whole series and stuff. So again, Cinna's one of my favorite characters because he's just so smart, so intentional. And then like again, spoilers all throughout this episode, but if you haven't read
Let's be for real.
Catching Fire, I sobbed so hard. My Catching Fire book has like tear stains on it when they drag Cinna out. And he's just, I mean, not only was he, getting like beaten, but then I'm like, from Katniss's point of view, she's about to like enter the games, which she's already twice like wreck about, and she has to watch it. She's like, it's just, oh my God, just so emotional. Anyway, so yeah, I love
I'm
Cinna.
not ready for it. I just restarted Catching Fire. I like just now. And
I
it's
have
too
it saved
much.
on my Libby app.
It's too much. It was
it's
too
too
much.
much.
Chanel, I do like that. I think that's so true for all of the characters from this book. Suzanne Collins is so intentional about all of her characters,
Mhm.
which is why A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping, I think, are such great books and they just fit in with this series, is because obviously she's had all these characters like thought out
Mhm.
beforehand. So like, yeah, I love that. I agree. I think it's all intentional.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing with um kind of the intentionality, why I liked Haymitch, right? We don't really, I mean, if you think about it, Katniss is like by herself in the games and it's from her point of view. So Haymitch is literally behind the scenes. But you kind of see how they think similarly. She's like talking like, oh, okay, why isn't he sending me money, right? Like I've survived this, or money, like gifts or tributes or whatever. And so she's like, I've survived this long, like I should have some sponsors right now. She said this during the Hunger Games and then again in Catching Fire, because she's like, she knows like obviously her and Haymitch butt heads, but she's like, come on, Haymitch, like I'm literally like got burnt, during the Hunger Games, like you said, me and Peeta are like kissing now, and like what she's trying to think like him of like, why am I not getting these gifts when I should be? And that first time, right after that, after the fire, she's like, okay, the reason he wouldn't give it to me, he wouldn't want to waste anything. And it's because I must be close to a water source, right? She knew she was kind of running um out of water. And so I think even though Haymitch wasn't even there, she was thinking about Haymitch and how he would think, and he was on point. And I just thought that was so amazing because it was a good way to bring him into the story without him even saying anything, like even being on the page. And it was true because she literally stumbled upon that water source. And again, it comes in when, he ends up sending her food in Catching Fire later. They end up sending like multiple things of bread to like the whole team, or even another time when Katniss is like, okay, Haymitch, like it's time for you to send us, some food now, or like, she communicates with him, and then like right
Mm-hmm.
after that, he ends up sending her things, and so they are like so alike minded, and like I said, it's we can feel his personality without him ever having been on the page. It's like totally from her point of view, and again,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I just loved Sunrise on the Reaping, because you get to see that he really is that smart, right? Like, why would he waste money
Mm-hmm.
when he knows that she's that smart
Mhm.
in the games? So I thought it
I
was,
love
again,
that.
really intentional with her
Mm-hmm.
writing.
Mhm.
Um,
They're very similar personality wise.
mhm. Yes,
Um, but
super
I also
similar.
what it's interesting to see like different parallels from different characters too. Like I feel like Haymitch and Katniss are intentionally very similar. And then Peeta says something when they're doing their interviews before the Hunger Games that makes me think of Maisie. Um,
I'm literally on that right now.
yeah, like well, I guess he's not doing the interview. He's talking to Katniss and he says, "Only I want to die as myself." Does that make any sense? I don't want them to change me in there, turn me into some kind of monster that I'm not.
I will
Hmm.
cry.
I know, but
Which doesn't it's
that is very
Maisie.
much, yes. It's
Hmm.
very similar, very similar.
And it's just interesting because, and I think it's about how they grew up, whereas like Haymitch and Katniss had to survive as children, like struggling. Not saying that Maisie and Peeta didn't respectively struggle, but like they weren't necessarily starving. So I feel like they had the capacity to think about what message they want to send if they die,
Mhm.
whereas Katniss and Haymitch don't necessarily get the opportunity to think that far in advance. So it
Mhm.
was
It's
really
like
cool to see the
literally, they're
parallels.
like, I'm
Hmm.
trying to live, I'm trying to find food, I'm trying to
Hmm.
protect my younger sibling. Like,
Yeah.
but
You know,
you're
it's
right.
Hmm.
it's interesting that you say that about the parallels from characters, because it makes me think of like the beginning of both books of like Sunrise on the Reaping of the Hunger Games. Like Maisie, obviously who I love, she like refused to eat with her hands. She like wanted to eat a
Hmm.
certain way, look a certain way, and that I love when Katniss realizes that they're thinking that they are more civilized or whatever because of how they're eating, that then she starts eating with her hands and like being more
Hmm.
quote unquote like barbaric because
Of her
she's
mom.
so mad about,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
well, I'm like, she's just like thinks it's ridiculous that they think that she's more of like a person because of how she's eating or whatever, when these poor kids were starving and stuff from past years that had gone in.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
just love, that's just interesting to think about it. Like Maisie wanted to be seen a certain way, and so does
Hmm.
Katniss wants them to like know that she doesn't care what they think of
Hmm.
her. So
But it's also like you said, it kind of goes back to what Stacy said. Like, these kids from the scene, they don't
Hmm.
fucking care about manners, and they're trying to
yeah,
just eat.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? They're
starving.
just putting food in their
Yeah.
mouths and survive, which is obviously what Katniss knows because she's there. But Katniss only knows manners and how to use a knife
Hmm.
because her mom,
Hmm.
who came from the district and, had more money and knows proper manners. So it's like she almost kind of got both sides of it,
Hmm.
but she
Hmm.
also gets to see both sides of it, right? And is like,
Hmm.
okay, so you think we're less human because we're poor, because we don't have manners? Like, yeah, it's so interesting.
Hmm.
And it's good that she's obviously able to like empathize and, like you said, not give an F. But yeah,
Hmm.
and it's also interesting that like what a privilege to be able to think about how people see you, like
Yes,
a
exactly. Hmm.
message, which I think this also goes to, this is another point I was going to raise, is like um the question, or I guess I started thinking about this on the reread. When or did Katniss start playing the game, right?
Hmm.
Like, I in book one, I think she was just trying to survive, like just
Hmm.
trying to get through
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
She's
To get
questioning,
home.
yes, just questioning everyone's right character.
Hmm.
I mean, she flip-flopped on Peeta about 100 times.
Yeah, 'cause she
Yeah.
like knew that other people were playing the game, but like she
Yes.
didn't know how to play the
And
game,
she
or
didn't
like
know
Hmm.
how to.
she didn't know she just knew that, like, remember, she thought Peeta was like playing the game since his name was Reap. Like as soon as it
Yeah.
was Reap, she's like, has he been playing the game since then? Like,
Yes. Yes.
And she thinks he's playing the game in the, even when
in
she's
the
like, could he be
arena.
helping me or he's actually trying to get me? Yeah.
Yes, yes. And so then that's why she starts, because then of course, he announces that they are, or that he has a crush on her, the
Mm-hmm.
lover's card. Then, so then she's like, but then he goes to the careers, and
Mhm.
then,
Mm-hmm.
they team back up, and like I just read that, he just saves her life. So she's like, okay, now
Mm-hmm.
he's back. And now they change the rules so they get back together, and now they have to
Mm-hmm.
kiss, and so she goes along with it, and then they're helping each other, but then then they decide to go out together, die together,
Mm-hmm.
and then they win. And so again, she's like, okay, well, okay, but it was just a game. So now we gotta keep it on because for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so understandably, she's like confused because she's like, I just want to go home. I just want to get back to my
Mm-hmm.
sister. And she knows how smooth and charming he is.
Mhm.
And my opinion is that she was not playing a game in this book. And the berries were just her way of just ending it, not a game, just ending it because she didn't see a way out, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they kind of had boxed her in a corner, and she was like, well,
She's like, I'm not gonna kill Peeta. Like,
yes, yes.
yeah.
She's like, we have come this far. We're like a team. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm not going to kill him. I would, like
Mhm.
he's, my buddy. And so this is the only way out. Like I'd rather go out with him than kill him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in Catching Fire, I think she's learned of the repercussions of the Barry incident. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when she starts catching on and starts about in the middle of that is when she starts playing the game. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was playing the game during this book, which is different than what I originally thought when I read it the first time. Like I read it so
Yeah.
fast. Um, but then, so I don't know if that lines up with what you think. I'm curious about your opinion.
Yeah. I personally think it's interesting, especially in the first one. Like I said, I haven't reread Catching Fire yet,
Mhm.
but I think she is strictly just trying to win and stay alive in Hunger Games. Like there's no greater plot in her mind. Like I'm gonna get back at the Capitol and President Snow in this book. You know what I mean? It's more like she just wants to make it home.
Mhm.
And she does stuff unintentionally
Mhm.
that are like a fuck you to the Capitol. And it's honestly very similar to how
Mhm.
Haymitch did his game if you watch it. Like she goes off by herself, Haymitch went off by himself.
But then I want to talk about like, because I want to ask
Hmm.
separate after we talk about this. Do you
Hmm.
think Peeta was playing the game? And do you think Haymitch was playing the game in his games? But I want to focus
Oh,
just on Katniss
or
though.
her.
But I think you're
No, I
right.
don't
I
think
think
she
you're right.
was. No, I think strictly like none of it was
Like intentional, like
intentional.
manipulated. But
Even
I
like you
think you're
said,
right. Like
oh yeah,
Rue, like that could
Rue.
be seen
Hmm.
as like a, you
That's
know,
what I'm saying, like a fuck you, like, but
hmm
that wasn't. It truly was just like it was a comfort to her because it made her think
hmm
of Prim. So I don't think
hmm
she was playing personally.
yeah. Or even during the what's it called with the numbers? Why am I blank? When
Oh,
she shot the arrow,
when they're trying to get their numbers
the
for how well
rating
they're
or
getting, yeah, the
what's it
rating. Hmm.
called?
Other score, whatever.
Yeah, their
There's
score, whatever.
Um, I think I'm with you both, as in like when I first like my opinions changed like rereading it now. And even
Mhm.
I guess rereading it and like seeing the movie and stuff in the past from the first time I read this book. I think she wanted to like play this game and she wanted, but I don't think she could. Like even in
Mhm.
some of the parts when she's like playing it up with Peeta when they're finally together and stuff
Hmm.
in the Hunger Games, like um, I don't think I think she thought she was faking a lot of it, and obviously she wasn't. That's just really how
Yeah.
she
Hmm.
felt. I think
Yes.
I think she thought she was playing the game, but girl, you weren't playing the game. You like
Yeah.
actually cared
Hmm.
obviously about him and
Yes. Yes. I think that's a good point too.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yes.
so I
She was catching the feels.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
yeah, she, in my opinion, she was not, she wanted to. She tried, but I just like, she
Yeah.
definitely did not in the first game. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
or the
And
first
I
book.
think it's because she's like too genuine, too like
Yes,
she's like
yes, that's the
all
word I'm
in.
looking for.
She's too genuine. She either
Mhm.
is just too mad or she loves too much or she's too sad. Like it's not
Yeah.
she can't be like
That
shady. She can't be yeah.
that's why she could even fake be nice to Peeta, like
Yeah.
when they're training and stuff before the games, when she
Mm-hmm.
thinks that he's playing the game because she's so
Mm-hmm.
mad that basically she doesn't
Mhm.
know if he's playing the game. And like
Mm-hmm.
she
Mhm.
can't even fake it to be
Mm-hmm.
nice to him. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're totally right.
Mhm.
yeah.
She's too all one emotion. You're right.
I
Mhm.
mean, and I think she's so into it. Like Peeta doesn't even know because do you guys remember the first when they say that two
But it's
people could win? The first thing he says when she finds him like covered in all that mud is he goes, "You here to finish
here to
me off,
kill me.
sweet? You here to
Yeah.
finish me off, sweetheart?" Like he's like,
Yes.
she's gonna kill me.
But that's what's so interesting though, is because again, kind of going to Catching Fire when she we gotta talk about Catching Fire. But anyway,
No, we gotta
We'll
save
talk
Catching
about
Fire for Catching
I
Fire.
know,
I
I
haven't started
know,
next.
Catching
We're
Fire
not talking
yet.
about catching fire right now,
I know, but
Chanel.
you already know
TikTok,
what you've
TikTok.
read it. But
Tick tock,
anyway,
tick tock.
um, but it's like
It's a clock.
like um, but like you said, he thinks that she can play the game and he that she can be shady and she can whatever, but she can't.
Mm-mm.
And so when she when she ends up like actually caring for him and being nice and genuine, he thinks it's fake, but it's real. And so it's actually her feelings
Mm-hmm.
from this book coming through. And it's her catching feelings. It's her coming to light. And so it's like Peeta, this is actually how she feels. Like you'll know if she's mad
Yeah.
at you, you know if she doesn't like you. Like it's so it's just so funny that he's thinking, oh well now she's got like when has she been an actor? Like, like she's
Yeah,
been
like
an actor. So
It's almost like if you really break it down and you like not be so serious about it for a second, even though it's a serious book, they're idiots in love, like from the
oh,
beginning.
from
yeah.
They
the
just
beginning.
both can't figure out what the other one is
Hmm.
doing.
Yeah.
They obviously, I mean, it's obviously higher stakes than a romantic type book that's happening, but
Yes. Yes.
And what Chanel was saying, like I think that she wasn't playing a game. I don't think Peeta was playing the game to
Okay,
like,
that's what I want to know. You
yeah,
don't
like
think he was?
I think he was playing the game to make Katniss win because he
Okay,
has
there we go.
obviously been in love with her
I
and
agree
he
with
Yes.
didn't think
that.
he was going to win. So I
Thank
think
you.
he won as like his, which is kind of a fuck you to the Capitol, but it wasn't his intention. Was that he
Mhm.
wanted to die, stole a good person, and he wanted to die with Katniss winning. I
Hmm.
think was his
Which is
goal.
why he was
Hmm.
like, I came here and with the girl that I love or I have a crush on,
Mhm.
whatever he says, which is why he teamed up with the careers to try to like take them out or draw
Hmm.
them away from her,
Yeah.
which is why um obviously he, took the berries with her because he was like, okay, I'm not going to kill you either. Like, or he played up the love romance, which I mean, I don't think that was playing it up, but whatever.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so when you look at it like you said, from that point of view, it wasn't, he was playing it so that she would get ahead. It
Yeah.
Yes.
wasn't ever like, I'm gonna win, like,
And
Mhm.
I think
yeah.
it's lost in the movie if people haven't read the books, but it's really beautiful, which I didn't even remember from reading the books. But like Peeta liking Katniss, it's been since he first saw her. Like they're
Hmm.
talking in the cave after she's trying to get him well and his leg's bad, and they're just talking. And Peeta goes, "My father pointed you out when we were waiting to line up." Peeta says,
Hmm.
"Your father?" Why? I asked. He said, "See that little girl? I wanted to marry her mother, but she ran off with a coal miner."
I know.
And she
That's
goes, "You're
so
making that
sad.
up." Yeah. And he says, "No, true story." And then later on, a few pages later, or whatever, he says that the Peeta's dad said that uh hit that Katniss's dad was a really great singer, and that's why Katniss's mom loved him so much. And then he goes, "I knew I fell in love with you like my dad did with your mom when I heard you sing for the first time."
Hmm. I
Mhm.
know.
I will cry, you guys.
I'm sorry.
I
So
know.
she's playing the game to win, to get home to her family. Peeta's playing the game to have Katniss win.
Mhm.
And if we just think about Haymitch, I think
Okay, what do you think about him? Do you think he played the game or Yeah, like intentionally, or did he not? I know.
He played the game as a fuck you to the Capitol, in my opinion. I think he thought he was going to lose, but his motivation was to do something to be like, fuck you to Snow, in my opinion.
You mean during what book? Are you talking about
We're,
this book,
going back
Stacey,
to Sunrise
or?
on the
I'm
his
go
game, his
Sunrise on
games,
his book, on his
Oh, yeah,
book.
yeah,
his
yeah.
games. Yes, we're going back. I think you're right, Stacey. I think he went in like gonna lose, like just
Hmm.
fuck all, I'm about to lose, whatever. And then things started happening. Luella died, and he was like,
Hmm.
well, fuck it. Like, I gotta send them in. I
Yeah.
need to send this because his dad had planted in his head, like this, like, I guess you can send propaganda, like,
Hmm.
like they don't let them take something from you. You don't want them
Mhm.
to take your dignity, your pride, your whatever. And so he was like, oh, well, I need to show them what they've taken from Luella, what they've taken from our district. And so he did that
Hmm.
F you to and so I don't think it was to win. I think it was just to, like you said, to show Snow. And then it was again, they brought like Lulu back, and then he had to team up with Maisie. And so I think, or team up with Ampert, and he was just like, oh, okay, I'm just doing these things to just fuck up shit, like not as like I'm gonna win. It was just like doing doing things. She's like, yeah. But it ended up working in his favor because he just kept outsmarting them and stuff. So,
Mhm.
which again, another quote, I thought it was in Catching Fire, but it ends up being here, Katniss and Peeta were talking about how Haymitch won his games. She ends up asking him, like, um how do you think Haymitch won? And oh, here, I have it here. Peeta, uh, a thought hits me. I'm amazed by the questions taken so long to surface. Maybe it's because I've only recently begun to view Haymitch as with a degree of curiosity. How do you think he did it? Peeta, who did what? Haymitch, how do you think he won the games? I say. Peeta considers this for a while he answers. Haymitch is sturdily built, but no physical wonder like Cato or Thresh. He's not particularly handsome, not in the way that causes sponsors to rain gifts on you, and he's so surly it's hard to imagine anyone teaming up with him. There's only one way Haymitch could have won. Peeta says it just as I'm reaching this conclusion myself. He outsmarted the others, he says.
Mhm.
I nod and then let the conversation drop. It's so freaking true. He just
Mhm.
outsmarted everyone. So yeah,
Y-
I thought
You
that
know
was
what's
interesting.
also about that? I think it's very interesting. It's also sad because later on in the game, Peeta and Katniss are talking about Haymitch again.
Mm-hmm.
And she says maybe he wasn't always a drunk. Maybe in the beginning he tried to help the
Ah,
tributes, but then it got unbearable. It must be hell to mentor two kids and then watch them die.
mm-hmm. Oh, I can't right now.
Yeah,
I can't.
after reading Sunrise on the Reaping, I just feel like it's something that the drinking and stuff just got worse and worse every year for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, you guys can't
Mm.
see it, but Stacy's got Ivy in the background. She is just mesmerized by our sign. Look at her. Um,
Real.
I think just real fast about my opinion about Haymitch playing the game or not in his book. I think I agree with you guys. I think it changed when Luella died. And after
Mm-hmm.
that, I think he
When
like he
Hale.
obviously hated the Capitol anyways, but he wasn't like Lenore Dove and
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of like he wasn't like an
He wasn't
activist
like
in that
he
kind of
wasn't a rebel.
yeah, he wasn't a rebel. And I think just like there was a lot of small things up until that point, but I think after Luella died, that I think it just really changed everything. He's like, well, I'm not protecting anybody, quote unquote, anymore, and couldn't protect her, and so I think that just opened a lot of doors for him to fight back more.
Which is kind of interesting because I feel like, well, I was gonna say, I feel like if he could do it again, he wouldn't have done that. Like, I feel like he would have realized that he had his family and he had his girlfriend, that like the capital is so big and powerful that I think he thought the worst thing that's gonna happen is I'm gonna die. I
Yeah,
think that's what he thought. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna die. Like, I'm not gonna win
yeah.
these games. But he didn't realize that they could
How terrible Snow is.
get
He
his family,
slowly, yeah, real.
get
I
his
think he
girlfriend.
realized it as it went. Yeah.
Get his girlfriend and get his family. And
Mhm,
then, and that the worst thing was winning and for
Hmm.
them to die. like it was a total reversal. Because like you said, I think he thought there wasn't going to be any repercussions. Oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to blow up this arena, or flood the arena. Oh,
You
okay.
know,
And then I'll die and it won't be a big deal.
speaking of, Katie, our sister, just finished Sunrise on the Reaping, and after she finished it, she was talking to me, and she's like, she's like, the only thing that I'm confused about, because I told her we were rereading The Hunger Games, is that she's like, Snow did all of this stuff to Haymitch because of like how he acted in the arena, and Katie was just like, I'm just so surprised in The Hunger Games that Katniss so like quote unquote got away with all this. Like Snow didn't murder her whole family after the games. And I was, in my opinion, the reason that it's like that and why it's different is that Katniss was already so much of a symbol by the end of her Hunger Games that I was like, if they would have done anything to her
Hmm.
family at that time, I think it would have amplified everything immediately.
Yes.
Is like
So
my opinion on that is why.
I think that's
yes.
completely right. I
And
agree.
but she didn't know it until Catching Fire.
Yes.
Like
Like
I just
I because
read
they're so
that.
condensed in their districts, I don't think, and so maybe even as the reader, you don't maybe realize that until you've like read it all and like looked back. Like she was already so much of a symbol at this point by the end of the Hunger Games that it just would have like put more like
Hmm.
wood on the fire or whatever for
Hmm.
this.
And they even tried to like keep her sheltered from it,
Hmm.
right, during her victory tour and
Yeah.
everything. But I think you are right. And then she only gets glimpses of it, right, from
Hmm.
the mayor, like eavesdropping on the mayor's thing, seeing it in District 11, like,
Hmm.
um, but I think you're totally right. And which is again why she was like the spark that caught after it had already been building up, where like
Hmm.
Haymitch, it didn't work, Lucy Gray, it didn't work. It had to be that perfect timing of these other, districts falling into place, Katniss coming with her dress and with her games and everything. But yeah, it if and especially also because Katniss did it for her sister, right? She volunteered for her sister. Like,
Hmm.
I think they even said it in Catching Fire. I think Joanna said it. She's like, they can't kill your sister. You
Hmm.
volunteered for her. Like, you have to go back to your family. Like, and she's like, I have no one left. Like, what are they gonna do to kill your sister? They can't do that. Like,
Hmm.
she says it like in front of
That's a
like
good point. Yeah,
on.
I don't remember that, so that's a good point.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that because Katniss and Peeta did the whole like fell in love on camera, and the Capitol falls in love
Hmm.
so hard with that story, and then like of course now time's gone on, like they make everyone view the Hunger Games to like make them afraid, but at the same time, it has the Capitol like become invested in these people. And so it kind of backfires in that sense. I think that
Hmm.
Mhm.
Snow can't be as devious as maybe he was definitely during Lucy Gray, because no one even watched it back then. And with Haymitch's game, I'm sure more people had to watch it, but it's nowhere near what it is when Katniss
Mhm.
and Peeta go and get raped.
Hmm.
Like it's way more. I mean, they talk about in her game how people code at the sites to like stay and visit, like they don't tear down the arenas and like
Hmm.
so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you would like this quote. It's Stacy. So President Snow, this is when she's getting crowned, I want to say. It's the anthem's playing yet again. We rise at President Snow himself takes the stage, followed by a little girl carrying a cushion that holds the crown. There's just one crown, though. You can hear the crowd's confusion. Whose head will it be placed on? Until President Snow gives it a twist and he separates it into two halves. So it's like so mean girl coded. He places the first one around Peeta's brow with a smile. He's still smiling when he settles the second on my head, but his eyes, just inches from mine, are as unforgiving as a snake's. I was
I
like,
screamed. I literally have it highlighted too. It was my next thing to read, and
yeah.
Chanel read it
I was like,
first.
oh, he's a little snake. I love it. I freaking love it. He already has those snake eyes. Amazing. Amazing. I loved it. Okay. Can we talk about my boy Gale? And then we can wrap it up.
Fine, let's talk about Gale.
Fine, let's talk about Gale.
I
Gale
would just like
sucks.
to point out that you notice that nobody, and I saw this on TikTok, so it's not my own thing, but you notice how none of Gale's family or anybody is mentioned in Sunrise on the Reaping. Nothing about Gale or his family or nothing. Zip.
She's right. They mentioned Peeta's family, or at least his dad, getting knocked out of the way, but not.
Trying to think. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's true. TikTok told me that, so.
Yeah, I don't think Hazel was around.
I'm
No.
just giving you a hard time. Tell me again.
No,
Tell me about your
you're
boy
wrong.
Gale.
You're wrong. Because well, they might have said Gail's dad, because his dad died in the explosion. Well, but that wasn't mentioned.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
he
died in an explosion with
with
Katniss's
with
dad. Yeah.
Katniss's dad, but then
But
Katniss's
yeah.
dad was alive during some recent movies. Uh, but-
I don't know. I'm just giving you a hard time. Let's go. Let's talk
no,
about
you're right.
Gale.
You're right. I'm trying to think. It's been 3 books back.
Yeah.
Like, um, okay. So my thoughts on Gale, like, okay, this is what I want to say overarching, because the reason people don't like Gale is because he's pitted, which I personally don't like, as a love interest.
Yes, that's true.
And he's not a love interest. Like, he shouldn't be a love interest. I don't think he's a love interest. And I think that maybe she just did it for, like,
No, she said in an interview that they made her do a love triangle.
okay, thank you. That's what I
She
was
has
gonna
said in
say.
an interview, because
I
if
was
you
gonna
read the
say the
first book,
publisher probably
he's
did
not
it.
portrayed in Hunger Games at all as a love interest.
And that's what I was gonna say. But then the second book is where it really like is like
But
forced down your throat to be a
because
love
she
interest.
has
And I'm
said, I
like,
know she said in an interview, I'll have to find it. I've seen it a couple times that they really pushed her to do a love
pushed it.
triangle, like
A love
Twilight,
triangle. Okay.
all of them. You know what I mean?
That totally makes sense, because literally, like you said in the first book, it's not like that. And then in Catching Fire, I'm like, this is so annoying. Look at her.
Yeah.
This is so annoying. Like, and again, I'm like, he's not a love interest. Like, literally, she doesn't even have feelings. Like, yeah, I think she's kind of have teenager like questioning, where she's like, oh, he's like a brother to me. He's attractive. Like,
Mhm.
could there be something like, or in the future we might have gotten married, because kind of he was there, and he's like the closest guy I trust, and kind of, he's familiar or whatever. But that as close as he comes to being a love interest. And then in Catching Fire, it's like, he forces this kind of kiss onto her, and then she's like, oh, well, maybe, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But even then, even when he forces this kind of kiss on her, by that point she already had like chosen Peeta, liked Peeta, was having feelings for Peeta. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you're just doing this so that, you can be controversial, and
Mhm.
and even though I do really like Gale, again, I don't think he's a good love interest. I don't know. And that's my thoughts. Whatever. He's
I
a good
enjoy,
friend. He's a good
yeah.
buddy.
I enjoy Gail's
Good
character
buddy.
as he was a friend of Katniss who was looking out for her, and it
Hmm.
didn't have anything to do with like love. It's just like they came together to help each other's families, and like
Hmm.
he was going to take care of her family,
And she was going to take care of his,
care of
like, yeah.
his, and that kind
She
of thing.
does in
And
Catching
she does.
Fire.
But I think people forget too, like how young Katniss is in Hunger
Hmm.
Games, and Gale's a little bit older than her too.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I don't enjoy him as a love interest, because it was just like Peeta hands down for me for the beginning. But I
Yeah.
think his character is okay. Like
Yeah.
he's just some hot dude who all guys fall around, but is like friends. All the girls fall around, but he's like friends with Katniss. And Peeta's
Yeah.
just jealous objectively because he thinks that there's something
Mhm.
going on. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know. All right, Ashley, what's your take? Even though you're the most like Gale anyway.
I know. Do you think that's why I don't like him? Honestly,
Yeah.
it's not that I don't like him. I think I think it's kind of what you guys are saying. It's just like when you're putting him up against PETA is the issue. But like we
Yeah.
don't need to do that. We don't need to
Hmm.
like put them up against each other.
Hmm.
And and we'll talk. I'll only speak to Gale in the Hunger Games. We can
Hmm.
speak about Gale in the other books later.
Yeah. Yeah.
But honestly, like rereading the Hunger Games, my heart really hurts for Gale because
Mhm.
Hmm.
you can see how much he loves her, even if it's like in a more like family type way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was really emotional when he was trying to say goodbye to her. and trying to like help her, like give her a little bit of advice before
Mhm.
she left. Also, he's really tall, so like I can't hate him.
All
But
I'm gonna
I
say
agree,
is
yeah.
Gale and Madge. That's all I'm gonna say is Gale and
Hmm.
Madge because he brings her strawberries. And it comes up in Catching Fire where Katniss finds out that he kept bringing her strawberries. I'm like, ooh, okay. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna
I
say.
could
See,
actually like I don't know if it's because like I've heard you talk about it so much, but like rereading the Hunger Games and just a little bit of interaction they have in the Hunger Games, I'm like, that should be a thing. That should have been
It
explored.
is. Because then, like I said, like when he gets whipped in Catching Fire, she brings him that morphling, and
Mhm.
Katniss is like, oh, like she just was so caught off guard that she would help Gale. And then
Mhm.
Haymitch is like, oh yeah, he's been bring something about like he's been bringing her like, strawberries. You guys used to bring strawberries, right? And like someone was like, yeah, like he kept bringing her strawberries during your game. And like I'm like, that's a fanfic. Actually, it is. I've read multiple ones.
Will you send me your favorite fanfic of that?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Yeah,
One
send me some.
is Gale going in the game with Madge. They get reaped
Oh.
together. And then the other one is the two of them, like him bringing strawberries to her during like how they both cope while Katniss and Peeta are in the game. And apparently Madge is like Peeta's best friend, like because they're from the
Mm-hmm.
district, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously like Gale and stuff, but and then they like bond while like hunting and getting strawberries or whatever. They're
Them
both so good.
strawberries though.
Strawberries. So yeah, anyway,
I love
but
it.
that's all I'm gonna say.
that's all I'm gonna say. I
Mhm.
think Gail's character is like, to me, it's like a mirror. Is like if Katniss never went to the Hunger Games, she probably would have ended up with him. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it would have just like naturally progressed to that. But you can't fight faith or fate, baby.
That's so true. And I mean,
Can't fight the moonlight.
she says it like I think it's a Mockingjay, like Peeta's what she needs, like
Yeah.
she doesn't need Gale.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't need more fire.
That's right.
She needs the boy with the bread.
The boy with the bread.
So yeah.
So yeah, that's the Hunger Games. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
I love Haymitch. That's all I want to say. Now we're done.
Now we're done. I love it all.
We can do kudos and peace out.
Yeah, we haven't done kudos in so long, you guys. Like we didn't do it on our last episode.
Oh
But
yeah.
we didn't do it during any of our like interviews with vampire stuff, which is fine because
Yeah,
that
but
was
that was like
different.
kind of
So we haven't done like kudos in forever.
yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
Um, always kudos to you guys because I love you. But big kudos to Julie Soto. Like
Mhm.
she was on our show for I don't even know how long.
And she's
She
gonna
was
be back,
carrying us.
baby. Don't worry, she's
Month.
gonna be back because we've already decided that we're gonna do a whole like episode before the new season, and when they do
Yes, yes,
vampire, like she will be back.
yes. But I mean, for taking the time out and just hanging with us and watching. And then we got to go see her in person last month and at her for her book tour for the Thrashers and went to dinner and hung out. And so just a giant kudos to her because she's amazing. I'm trying to think what else. That's the biggest highlight. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna jump in then because I'm obviously copying Chanel. Like huge for Julie Soto because that was just so fun and it was just like something different we got to do, like change it up a little bit on the podcast, which was so nice. And she's a New York Times bestseller now, and it's just amazing. And then I want to kudos you guys because I love you and you're always amazing. And I want to kudos my friend Ashley, who your guys' friend too. Um, I'm just like traveling for the next 2 weeks, so I'm not at home. And like today she called me and she just like giving me updates on everything that's going on back at work and stuff that I'm missing. So it's just nice like to get little catch up things like that. So yeah, I love you guys and
Love
her and
it.
Julie Soto.
Nice. Go ahead, Stace.
Yes, we have to kudos Julie. Obviously, I'm obsessed with her. and all of her hot takes. I also want to kudos you guys, specifically Chanel, for speaking of Julie. Chanel got me the Illumicrate edition of Rose and Chains, and I could scream because I couldn't get it myself. And then
Yeah,
I
you're
definitely
gonna love it.
and then I want to kudos my therapist Heather has been saving my mental state the last few weeks. So
Don't you mean like our therapist?
I know, right? Our
whatever,
collective
our
therapists. I think we're too close.
We're too close. I always forget that for some reason I always forget sometimes that she sees all three of us. And I'm like, I wonder if she's just like, these bitches are crazy.
yeah, just in case people don't know, we all three see the same therapist at different times, but
Yeah, yeah. We should just do a group session one day.
we should.
God, funny.
But yeah, but I love you guys, and gosh, we haven't got to like talk about a book, and I mean, I know we talked about Sunrise and the Reaping recently, but this feels more normal. Like we're kind of back
Mhm.
into it a little bit.
Yeah. We'll be back with Catching Fire, obviously. So if you haven't read it, well, read it since we spoiled. So,
Yeah,
uh,
Ivy wants you to read it.
yeah. And we're happy you're joining us for the Hunger Games summer.
Yeah, our Hunger Games summer.
Hey guys, make sure you read the Hunger Games and make sure you read what you like.
Bye. Bye.